Hello, dear ones, it's Hannah. We got our first snow today, just little flurries, but I've been out in the garden putting things to bed and harvesting the last things, and I hope you're having a lovely time, whatever you're doing in your world. So, tonight I wanted to share with you the last segment of my quantum healing swap session that I did with my dear friend and fellow practitioner Jen Fisher in California. In this session segment, we learned about why humans overthink things and why things pop up in our world to distract us. We also learned about backdrop people and the collective conscious, as well as just the time that we're in general and some about the coronavirus. So I hope you enjoy.
Why do we seem to have such a problem with overthinking as humans?
That's part of your nature and part of the trick, if you will, to embodying as human and finding your way back into the ever expansiveness of unity. From the unity consciousness, all of the answers are already present. And from within the human, not connected to the unity, that's where all of the conscious mind's sense of power or thinking, if you will, stems from.
Well, let's talk about distraction then. Why do these people or events come into our lives to distract us when we clearly have work to be doing?
Because often you find that you feel overworked or overburdened when you're solely on a path of doing your personal work. Though it feels fulfilling and expansive and wonderful in its own right, it also often feels lonely to people and to humans. And so it's sort of like a cat having a mouse to play with, if you will. It's something titillating for the senses. Their word, not mine. For the experiences that it provides, because there's a level of joy within the game that you play, even though you recognize, many of you from early on, that it will not fruit what you're hoping ultimately.
So the gift then is the distraction?
The gift is the playfulness and the expansion of your feeling experience. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a gift because the feelings that result ultimately are heavy and low, although if you see them from a wider perspective, they're showing you what can still be healed. And also that the best path to what you desire is not to look outside of yourself for fulfillment or answers, but to create that within and align with that within.
And what about the backdrop people? What role do they play in this?
They're saying that they're filling in the gaps. I think both in my vision, like I guess the holes in the honeycomb are where the backdrop people have disappeared. But also they fill in the gaps, meaning where the collective conscious needs to hold on to a story or maintain a certain experience or understanding. They're creating the space for that, but the actual substance of it is hollow, and that's because that understanding or belief is not built on a solid foundation. Like there are holes in the theory, if you will. And so as people start to realize um, the greater depth of truth from within them, they won't need those theories or to cling on to what they believe is the truth, despite the fact that it's not the whole truth. And so they'll carry the structure, which is the facets of that are truth with them, and leave the chaff, if you will, the chaff being the backdrop people or the holes in the honeycomb, um, or what used to fill the holes in the honeycomb, rather. And then I'm seeing in March all this yellow light pouring out from those holes in the honeycomb. So it's almost like I'm looking at the bones, like the very bare bone essence of what has been left behind and what is moving forward. And then it all, this bright yellow golden light is pouring from, oh, it feels so much nicer. And it just feels to me like that is really what feels like the physical gateway to the new earth, sort of starting at that time. Like there's so much lush, green, bright, vibrant light and energy after that time that just continues to build. And then I'm like seeing these rolling purple and blue hillsides, and like it just keeps building upon itself.
Is that like a metaphor, or is that going to be the physical reality?
They're saying it's both. It is a metaphor, but it is also an aspect of the physical reality, though it's not it in toto, they're saying. Yeah, but the timeline feels like it is more of a physical reality, like the November, January, March. But the vision that I'm having of the new earth is sort of like my perception of how it unfolds, but it's actually going to be a collective creation, not just mine, though mine is a facet of the collective creation that will exist within it. They're saying, you guys have got this. They're referring to the time that we're in and the time that's coming.
Meaning the collective, or do they mean,
No, they say for the collective, largely, yes, but not all of the collective will fit into that. But there are some that will falter and fall. And ultimately, they've got it too, because they'll make it through in another iteration of them. But that on the much larger scale, humanity as a whole has got this for sure. No question.
the only thing that I would ask would be about, like, how does the corona virus fit into all of the goings-ons right now, and where does that end?
Where does the coronavirus end?
Yeah, so how does it fit into the current?
So it's a catalyst for change, is how it fits into the current. It's in essence one of the many events, if you will, that we were speaking of earlier when we said they're not all events of energy from the sun.
Right.
So it's one of the many events creating shift within the collective. And there are many people that are being shaken up by this story.
Right.
In a myriad of directions. And as the deeper truths of what is happening on your planet, for humanity, in the world, the energetic world, on levels from deep to light, the whole perspective and gamut. As more truths come to light, it will start to dismantle this story of the coronavirus, which will cause more awakenings, if you will, or more internal shifts for people as they, continue to align further with themselves and their truth, and as they continue to align further with their own truths, the alignment of the collective with truth will become greater and greater.
So I hope you enjoyed that. I so love being able to do these sessions with myself and with others and have content that is so relevant to so many of us in the world right now that I can share. So my name is Hannah Fogg. I'm a Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner in the state of Maine in the United States, and I have the great blessing of getting to see clients like you from all over the world through the wonders of the internet. So I'm going to list my website below. And if you have any interest in reaching out to learn more or to have a session for yourself, please feel free to reach out anytime. I feel so incredibly blessed to be able to offer this work in the world because it is so deeply and profoundly healing and helps us all to unravel the mysteries in our lives that help us really get in deeper touch with who we are and why we're here. And that is such a special thing. So I hope you are having a beautiful life and experience wherever you are in the world, and I will look forward to being in touch soon. All right, take care. Bye.